Hey guys, if you don't know me, my name is Evicting and I make videos on MMOs, most of which have been on Black Desert Online, but I've recently decided to branch out and try my hand at some other MMOs. I have recently started playing World of Warcraft as a completely new player nearly 16 years after the game's initial release. In this video, I'll be detailing my time as a new player and my experience with the game so far. So without any further introduction, let's get into it. As with most other games, my experience started in character creation. Seeing as I am a BDO player, the bar for character creation is pretty high for me, and World of Warcraft just did not meet that bar. The concept of races is a very cool idea, and I believe it's well implemented into this game, but in terms of actually customizing your character, this game is pretty lackluster compared to other MMOs. This did not take a whole lot away from my game experience, however, as I'm not one to spend hours adjusting the appearance of my character. When I was met with the character creation screen, I clicked all over the races, thought the panda was the coolest, then clicked all over the classes, thought the warrior fit my playstyle the best, changed a few things about my panda, then I was on my way. Because I chose the Pandaren race, I started my journey in Pandaria, an expansion that was released in 2012. And the aesthetics of the area were amazing. The graphic style differed a lot from previous games I've played, and in reality, it wasn't really outstanding in any way, but I began to appreciate it more and more throughout my time playing the game. But on the other hand, there was the gameplay. The tutorial experience in World of Warcraft's current state is absolutely abysmal. You talk to an NPC, press accept on their quest, run to a couple mobs, spam the number 1 key, return to the NPC, press complete quest, rinse and repeat. This process eventually became less monotonous when I got more abilities and began fighting bigger and harder mobs. However, there was nothing really special about any of the quests. I never really felt a sense of adventure nor a sense of challenge, and the only good thing going for this part of the game were the graphics and the fact that I had a friend playing alongside me to keep me entertained. Had I not had this, I'm not sure I would have continued past even level 10. But I did persist, and I made it to the end of the Pandaren tutorial, where I was given the choice of joining Alliance or Horde. I didn't put a ton of thought into this, I just looked up pictures of the major cities for both factions, and chose Horde because I liked the look of them more. After choosing, I took a balloon ride to my new home city, Orgrimmar. At this point, I was around level 19, and after doing some more quests, I reached level 20 where I was met with a paywall. I didn't know about this before playing the game. I had thought that you had access to all expansions besides the newest one, and once you got to the end of all the current content, you had to pay for the newest expansion. So as soon as I saw this, I closed down the game and didn't give it a second thought for around 3 days. I mean, why would I? I just had the most monotonous experience ever, rotating the 1, 2, 3, and 4 keys over and over, and then the game said, hey, do you want to pay $15 a month to press those buttons some more? And I said, nope. But I knew in the back of my mind that what I experienced could not be a recurrent theme throughout the whole game. The game is one of the biggest games on Twitch and has the most concurrent players of any MMO. And no one would willingly subject themselves to endless hours of brainlessly pressing 4 abilities, right? So, with this in mind, I swallowed my pride and paid the $15 to see what else there was to this game. And in hindsight, it was a great decision. The game really starts to pick up after the tutorial. You're given access to an enormous world with a ton of different ways to level, seemingly infinite quest lines, a plethora of dungeons, new areas with amazing aesthetics, and with levels, actually fun combat. So after I purchased my subscription, I immediately jumped into dungeons, and dungeons were actually extremely fun. I had never really had the dungeoning experience in any other games, and now I don't know how I'll ever go back to a game without dungeons. In World of Warcraft, you are given the option to queue for specific dungeons or a random dungeon, with each having their own perks. Queuing for random dungeons gives more XP, while specific dungeons allow you to pick and choose the loot table that you want to receive items from. I use specific dungeons to acquire a decent gear set, then random dungeons to level up faster. After hitting level 30 from dungeons, I wanted to try out questing again to level. So I set off again into the absolutely amazing landscapes, flying from Flightmaster to Flightmaster, getting lost a few times in the Undercity on the way, and when I finally got there, I soon found that questing is nowhere near as efficient as dungeoning for leveling and gearing. The quests I was receiving gave me around 10,000 XP each, while each dungeon was giving me around 50,000 XP in total. And each quest would either give me no item or a trash white item that I just vendored for very little silver. And that is another small problem I have with the game. Doing dungeons is so much better than questing, to the point where if you want to level and gear up with any real efficiency at all, you have to do dungeons. This isn't a huge problem due to the fact that there are a ton of dungeons and you can get a different experience out of each one depending on what role you play. I rarely found myself bored in a dungeon, and I've only ever repeated a dungeon twice, and that's where I'm at now. Questing when I feel like it, and dungeoning to get the majority of my XP. I have yet to participate in PvP, but I'm definitely looking forward to trying it out. So if you guys are debating whether or not to get into this game, I would highly recommend just trying it out. The first 20 levels are pretty awful, but I can assure you it gets better. The graphics may be outdated, but they definitely grow on you, and the combat is actually really fun. The subscription also includes access to Classic WoW, so I may make a video on that as well. But for now, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.